All right, so the big one that the big reason why most people come in here, besides looking at service tickets, the big one people go in here is really looking at reports. So the reports, again, are exactly the same data we have in our own system. So let me show you a couple how they work, and they're pretty basic how they work. So I hit profit and loss. I pick my dates. Now I'll show you a little trick here. If I hit January 1, you gotta make sure you click your little date. If you don't click the date, it doesn't pick it up for some reason. Well, obviously reason, I guess. Pick the 31st. And then basically I usually leave the rest of these all blank. So if you want your pennies to show, you can uncheck it. I always exclude period adjustments. You can collapse the stuff, but it's all there. Accrual versus cash. We only use accrual accounting. The only time we use cash accounting is on our owner statements for rental. And then basically if you had multiple properties, you'd be able to separate your reports by property, by unit. But again, I just leave all the defaults. So change your dates, leave everything else the same. And then down here, you can pick what type of report format comes into. So I'm gonna pick PDF for here initially. And then there's my P&L for my property for January to end of March. Hey, it makes money, look at that, it's pretty good. Okay, so let's return back to rerun. Now, also for your treasurers, you guys wanna start working on a budget. You wanna play some numbers. You wanna look at the value stuff. We have two options to put this into Excel. We have CSV, which is my preference, and Excel. So I'm going to show you Excel just to show you the two formats. Excel comes in and downloads a file down here at the bottom. I click on it. And let's make that a little bigger so you guys can all see it. You can see it's all formatted, all pretty. It's all nice to work with, right? And you can kind of play and you can kind of start making stuff and you can start making adjustments. The problem sometimes is that you got to look at all these like columns here. The only columns they have there, they're kind of all weird. So if you're doing lots of playing with it and cleaning up, it's a nuisance. So what I prefer, and most of my team prefer, is CSV, which is common separated values. So run that one. And don't worry, opens up in Excel as well. If you never use a CSV file, it also opens up in Excel. Wait for it, wait for it. And now, so now I have nice and simple, nice, easy deals there. I got three numbers basically. I got income, I got expense, and I got utilities. And if I go back to here, I have my income, my expense, my utilities, and that's it. So now I can play much easier with this data. If I want to take some data, I can take this out. And now I can play with this data much easier than having to clean up all those columns and rows. But again, you can run that data for anything you want. I ran for a quarter, you can run for years, you can run for whatever you want. So let's go back to our reports back here. So again, we have all the different reports. So we have a balance sheet comparison, which compares two different dates side by side. We have our bills paid, which is another very common report. So you want to know what we paid this month or this week, because we do check runs every single week, every Thursday afternoon. Sometimes Thursday afternoon, they're all printed. And then Friday morning, we sign checks. So if you want to know what checks I printed this past week, we can go back to the, not this week, last week. You could pick a vendor if you wanted to pick a certain vendor, but I pick all. And then again, we'll put in PDF so we can run it. Oh, I didn't pay any bills this month, that week, but you get the idea. We have a vendor, our invoice number, the bill amount, the bill date, the check number, and the amount of the check, and any memos details what it is. So again, you can get a good idea what was paid in that period. I want to show you two more reports here. I'll make sure I don't miss any reports there. The other one that's very common on the rental side, and there's two that are very common. One is the move in, move out. You want to know what's happened, especially on a larger property. And you could also do this on condo too. You want to know how many new owners moved in and when they moved in. You could also do this as well. I'm going to change this date back to 2017 because again, my test date is not the best. So we're going to run back 2017 and run this report to get an idea of move in, move outs. But on the condo, you'll see who moves in, moves out. On the if you're an investor owner, you'll see who moved in and moved out in your property as well. So you can see that basically I moved in back in 2020. And Stephen King moved in on January 1st, 2020, and then moved out that same month. Maybe we should have a better job of checking him out before we let him in. And then you can see on the move out here, you can see his move outs over here. So move ins, move outs. It'll give you an idea of what kind of flow you have in your condominium or in your rental property. Okay. And my last report I want to show you guys on the rental side that we get a lot of requests for is rent rolls. So we have two different rent rolls here. We have the reoccurring, which kind of show, I'll show you that one. And then we have rent roll analysis. And they both kind of give a bit different data, still the same data, same rent roll, but it's a little bit different. So I just want to show you one of these reports here. And it really depends on what you want to look at. You run them both until you figure which one you like the most. They both have different purposes. So I can see that I have 2 people living in unit 1, looks like. One moved out in 2012, one moved in 2020. I can see that I have someone else in 2302, unit 2302. They moved in. I can see their rent now. I can see their total charges per month. I can see what balance they owe. That's a bad tenant. That's $6,800. We should evict that guy. Oh, look, no, we have not. So we should evict that person. A little summary down the bottom of all your rent possibilities, your unit number of units, your vacancy count, and everything else. So that's a rent roll analysis to kind of run. And then the one report that condo guys always want to know is, so beyond what we paid, what deposits do we get and what checks do we get? So I'm going to click on this one. And again, I think I have data back here. Maybe I tested this one properly. So there. So I can see my money that came in. I can see the D's are deposits. I can see my deposits happen in February and March. I can see I wrote a check on in March 3rd, and I did a owner pay on the 25th of January on check 19. So I can see all my activity in my activity there. My last report I want to show everyone, and Steve alluded to it already, the general ledger. The general ledger has everything. If you have never read general ledger, it's all the transactions across everything else from an accounting point of view. And again, same principle, but this is the most complicated one out of all. So you pick your dates, right? You can pick your GL counts, what you want to do. You can say, do I want to include the ones that have zero balance, zero activity, zero balance, zero activity or not? Which ones you want to exclude of the thing? You can do accrual versus counting, detail versus summary. There's all kinds of places. And again, what I tell people all the time is basically just play with the settings to make the report look the way you need the report to look at.
I will say this in terms of cash or accrual, on the condo side, we use accrual accounting for your business. And on the rental side, we use cash accounting. So just be aware of that.
So again, I have every count in here already, but that's kind of the logic of where it'd be. I didn't limit my report to only showing ones that had no zero. So let me just show you guys that before I forget to do it again. So down here, zero accounts. So I want to exclude anything that has a zero activity and zero balance. Let's try one more time running that report. That'd be a way nicer report to see, guys. Now it's only 2 pages, not 86 pages. So now I can see all the results of what I've done in that report, a little bit more cleaner.